Good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. How's it going? How is it going? Happy Saturday evening. It is approximately 7:50 p.m. on Saturday. Some of you are getting ready to go out and have a great time. Some of you are already out and just looking at your phone and catching me. At any rate, I'm coming in late today, but I'm coming in hot and hard. So I'm going to be before you very, very quickly. I got something to tell you that has occurred to me, and I want to share it. Today is a 5-day, and as you may remember, 5 has to do with expansion. It is associated with the throat chakra, the 5th chakra, the color blue. It is associated with a variation on a theme. So it takes the foundation and it takes it into different variations, into different experimentations on a theme or on the foundation. So the 5th chakra is the throat chakra, associated with blue, associated with wisdom. It is a more refined kind of love. The 4th chakra is associated with unconditional love and sacrifice and martyrdom. And the 5th chakra is more refined in that it understands love and it takes it to a more refined state of wisdom where it has boundaries so that it is more effective and efficient in its dispensing of love and how it uses discernment to actualize love. So that is the 5th chakra. And our day is a 5-day, a day of expansion. And I'm going to chat with you on the theme of expansion, really in the theme of variation. But earlier this year, we talked about making room for God. I actually did a talk, it was in the spring, and it was after I did the talk on spring cleaning, and then I did a talk on making room for God. What's up, Chris? Mr. Overnight Success, how are you? R Clip Clap 72, thank you for joining me. Good to see you. And I talked about what it means to make room for God, what it means to be open to all the possibilities that are in front of you, and to choose according to what the Spirit, according to what your relationship with the Creator is leading you to choose. And so we fast forward. Okay, we are in a different season. It is no longer spring, and we're on the verge of the end of summer, right? And so in this new season, we are doing something different. We're not making room for God. We've already done that, and God has placed seeds in us that are growing and are coming to harvest. We have been having in gestation certain visions in our lives, and we're about to give birth. Oftentimes when you make a decision or you based on a vision that you have for your life, it's something you want to happen, oftentimes, and this is the case for many people, you are beginning to see the repercussions and the consequences of that decision, but you're not really sure that this is all about that vision that you had, because you're not able to reconcile the vision with these consequences and these repercussions. And that's happening to a lot of people too. So what I want to chat about is how we are now in the process of reconfiguring our lives, because there are some major changes that have taken place. Last week we talked about the census and how you are being asked to identify yourself. Okay, who are you now? Who have you become? What have you been doing in the last 10 years since the last census? Are you still supposed to be at this address? Were you supposed to have moved? Who lives here now? What are you doing with your life now? So there was a census that was taking place, right? And it still is to some degree. But now we have already moved through the process of taking that census, where we're asking ourselves who we are, what are we supposed to be? And now we and all of our friends are in the process of making some decisions and sticking to them. I have many awesome friends in my life, and I've had several conversations with all of them, and they're all going through the same thing. Some are determining, okay, I used to be this person, I have this gift and I have this gift, but the way my life is going, the trajectory of my life is showing me that I have to let this particular thing go. Like, I love that. That is a part of me. That's an aspect of me. But that is no longer going to fit, and it no longer aligns with where I'm going. So that is going to have to go on the back burner. Everybody has a right to do that. Some other people are saying things like this. You know what? There are a couple of different things that I love and enjoy and have a passion for. And my life is revealing to me, and my relationship with spirit is revealing to me that I'm not supposed to choose, that I'm supposed to do all three of these things. And I'm supposed to demonstrate to myself and to the world how these three things can come together and be something extremely unique that the world hasn't seen. And so these are two different choices and two different trajectories of life that people are on and they have to make. And so what happens during a time like this is that we are all so engrossed in self-review and self-reflection and self-inventory that we are becoming very certain and sure about who we are supposed to become. And this is what we're supposed to do. We make the mistake when we begin to force on others the decisions we're making on ourselves, or we're making about our own specific and unique lives. Just because God has given me the desire and the intention and the inspiration to do three different things at once does not mean that I'm going to advise a friend who's trying to make a choice, who is being led to make a choice. I'm not going to advise them. I shouldn't advise them to do all three. I should advise them, hey, if you feel very strongly that you're supposed to be making that choice right now in your life, make that choice. That is what you're supposed to do. We have to make sure that we are tending to our side of the street. We have to make sure that we're not imposing our life schema on someone else because they have a different role they're playing in the world. They have a different role they're playing in life. And we have to allow them to play their role as we play our role, which is going to be different. And if we're going to be in close proximity, it's going to be complementary. It's going to be symbiotic. But we have to allow people to be their distinct, unique selves, because they're going to shine in a very distinct way, just like stars. Some of us are given the role to look at life and experiences from a higher level, an aerial view where you're zooming out and you see how these seemingly divergent factors actually work together. That is not for everybody to see. That is not everybody's role. And so if you're in the role of someone who is able to reconcile polarities, reconcile very distinct and extreme differences, and dualities, if it is your role at this time, because it's seasonal, you don't stay in one role forever. If that is your role, then you play your role, because as you are demonstrating that and you're being that person who can reconcile those polarities, you are shining light on an area that other people cannot see, and it allows them to apply that wisdom to their lives. But you should not get them to do what you're doing, because you are uniquely qualified to do that and to be that. You have graduated and have been ascended to the point where you can reconcile those differences. And that doesn't mean everybody's going to do that. So what I want to say to everybody is that it is so important, as you are in the process of becoming someone very different, as you're in the process of becoming someone different from the person you were this spring, when you were making room for God and you were allowing God to live through you and help you make decisions that allowed you to be who you are today. It's important that you become very resolute in who you are at this time, because you're playing a very important role in the world. You're playing a very important role in the lives of those that are in close proximity to you. They are watching your model. They're watching how you live, and they are taking notes. But you have to know who you are and be yourself. On the other hand, I want to really reiterate the importance of allowing other people to be who they are. Allow people to make choices that are completely divergent from your choices. Allow people to decide that they're going to get the Let them decide to do that if that's something they need to do. If you're not going to get then that's fine. We have to allow people to be sovereign over their own lives, to make decisions that they have to live with. And we can all coexist doing different things and playing different roles in the world, okay? And just because you're playing a particular role right now doesn't mean that you're going to always be in that role. We're always evolving. We're always moving into something new, into something different, okay? That is what I wanted to give you today. So very, very important that we allow people to be who they are. Very, very important that we understand the law of correspondence. As you are making those choices for yourself, if you're the person who is going to select a box and you're going to be the person that is defined by that box, you be that and you do that, okay? But people who aren't going to select the box, who are going to transcend both sides and understand the wisdom of seeing both sides, the wisdom of understanding the importance of both sides, you must allow them to do that, because that is where they are and that is the role they're playing. Because there's no way around yin and yang. Yin does not exist without yang. Yang cannot exist without yin. And the universe cannot expand unless it has those divergent pistons going back and forth, back and forth. That is the engine of the universe. That is the engine that expands the universe, the yin and the yang. So if you are yin at this time, you be yin, because we need you. If you're yang at this time, you go out there and you be yang, and you do an amazing job at it. But if you are one of these people, like myself, who sees the purpose of yin and yang and sees how they both must work, and sometimes it seems that they're working against each other, but they're actually expanding the universe. They're expanding our view, our perspective. That back and forth is the engine, like pistons. It expands. We need the yin, we need the yang. We need masculine, we need feminine. We need both happening at the same time, sometimes in conflict, sometimes working together, sometimes doing things that we don't understand. But in faith, we know that it is the engine that must, not the engine that could, the engine that must. In order for us to continue to expand, we need this and we need that. We need the things that are polar opposites that seem like they don't go together. Some of us have the wisdom to understand in a very strong way that there are two sides of the same coin. To understand in a very strong way that there are two wings on the same bird. And a bird can't fly with one wing. Okay? And a coin doesn't exist with just one side. It's not, that just doesn't happen. But everybody isn't going to live in that wisdom. Everybody isn't going to, that's not going to be home to everybody. It can't be home to everybody. We need people on each side. We can't have everybody in the middle because we won't have enough polarity in order to keep the engine going. Are you following me? Okay? This is really a very subtle message. Okay? But it is where we are right now. And those of us who are listening to this are probably going to be able to get this and understand the importance of both sides, the importance of the ping pong back and forth that keeps things moving, and the importance of having certain people that transcend both sides and to see the importance of each and to allow them both to exist, because it is exactly what allows us to give birth to all the possibilities that happen to be God, that happen to be the Creator. We give birth to the infinite possibilities by being able to transcend these polarities. So during this time, okay, let's let people be who they are. And let's catch ourselves as we are in the process of judging someone based on our own choices that we have to make. Choices that are so stark and so clear to us that we have to make for ourselves. Sometimes it's counterintuitive. It doesn't make sense that the other person that is right adjacent to us is making a different decision. It makes we don't necessarily understand, and we can't visibly see why they're making this choice, but it's not for us to understand. It is for us to allow that person or those people to have their sovereignty and to make choices that have nothing to do with us, and to have faith knowing that the yin and yang and the polarity that drives life, that allows life to happen, that allows the universe to expand, we have to trust that it is doing what it's supposed to do, and just play your role in this play. You can't play everybody's role. Just play your role and play it well. Be resolute in who you are. This is a time of self-understanding, of self-awareness, and self-knowledge. This is a time for you to know who you are, and know why you're here, and know what you're doing, and be so busy being about that you're not distracted by people that are doing something else. Okay? That is the quick message I have for you. Basically, the universal law of correspondence is as above, so beneath, as within, so without. So as you're in the process of this inner reconfiguration, as you're reconfiguring who you are on the inside, that is going to be reflected and projected out into your external reality. As you reconfigure yourself, your closest friends, the people in your life, the things that you do, those things are being reconfigured on the outside. So your life is moving around. It's moving around. There's a game of musical chairs happening with your friendships. You know, people are moving to different spots. Like you have people along a certain array, and you have them all in different spots, but they're moving around. They're being reconfigured. Some are moving a little bit further out from your circle, because it's just the season for them to move a little bit further out in the orbit, and some are moving a little bit closer to your circle, a little bit a closer orbit around you. All right, this is okay. This is not because of them. Believe it or not, it looks like they're doing it. It's actually you doing it because of the changes you're making on the inside. The reconfiguring of your inner world is causing the outside to mirror what's happening on the inside. So, you know, don't be too daunted and too shocked by the reconfiguration and the musical chairs that is taking place at this time in your life. It must happen. Accept it and allow it. Because when you do that, you're really just accepting who you are and being okay with the decision that you've made, and you are resting in a state of peace about who you are becoming, knowing in faith that it is the right thing for this season. So that is all I had for you. I hope you are able to get something out of this. You may have to play this back again, but this is something that's been in. Oh, I got one more example. I got one little example that I think is kind of cool. So today I was in, I'm not gonna say where I was, but I went to this little breakfast lunch cafe, and I was choosing what I was going to eat, so I chose something that looked nice, and then I also wanted to have a smoothie. Well, guess what? I did not like the choices of smoothies, so I said, ladies, can I create my own smoothie, because the way you have it configured, it's not speaking to me. These choices are not right for me. And they said, have at it. So I created a smoothie. And they went ahead and put the smoothie together and whipped it up and brought it to me. And as I was almost finished, one of the ladies came and tapped me on my shoulder. She said, so what are we going to call this masterpiece? I'm like, I'm sorry, because I'm writing. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, the thing that you just created, we had a taste of it, and that is so good. We're actually going to go ahead and put it on the menu. I'm like, really? She's like, so, come up with a name, because we're going to put that on the menu. So I had to stop what I was doing, because I was jotting down some notes, and I had to come up with a name of the smoothie that I created. And this is an example of my role I have a different role. I'm in a point in my life where I cannot just choose what's already there. I cannot always just select from the choices that are already made. I have to go inside and I have to really, really believe that what is there works for me. If it doesn't, it is my job in this season of my life to say, no, none of that works for me. I'm going to need this ingredient, this ingredient, that one, and this over there. Put that together. And what's happening in my life is I'm not getting any pushback at all. When I am creating something new, some hybridization, some triangulation, some new creation that's never been, when I do that, it is turning out to be something amazing, because that's what I'm doing right now. I'm creating. And so the example I'm giving you is this happened today, where I did not select the box that was already there. I did not choose something that was already there because it didn't speak to me. It wasn't what I wanted at the time. I created something new that was just right. And my demonstration of being unique, my modeling who I am at this time and not being afraid to be exactly who I am, caused someone else to notice that and say, hey, that was amazing. Can you give us the name of what are we going to name this thing? Because we're going to put it up there on the menu so other people can check that box off and use that. So that's just an example. That's a very small example, but that happened to me. And hopefully that sheds some light on the distinction I'm trying to draw between people who are making a choice on either side and people, many of whom are like me, who cannot make a choice because it doesn't feel true, because it doesn't feel authentic, because it doesn't reflect their truth or my truth. I have to create my own choice by pulling something from all the ingredients that will reflect my truth and my authenticity. So I'm saying something really deep here by giving you this superficial example that happened in real life today, but I'm hoping you are homing in on it and understanding the nugget of truth in this example. That's all I have for you. Hope you got something out of it. You have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your night out. Enjoy your night in. In any case, it's great talking to you. See you next week.